So yesterday we finally got nerfs in Hearthstone, Standard specifically. In this patch, two most dominant classes were targeted, and before the balance change was released, there were debates on what did Team 5 have to address for those two classes. With Shaman, there were not many options, and it was with any combination of Cage Match Custodian and Boxman Knuckles to be targeted. What we got is probably the best out of all possible outcomes, since the change touches only Wolf Shaman archetype, while other weapon-based decks are not getting worse. Now there could have happened other changes to a weapon, like increasing the mana cost or toying with the rule text. We have a simple but good change. First, reducing attack for 1 means you'll have harder time dealing with enemy minions. This makes the Wolf Shaman even more vulnerable against tempo decks that swarm the board. Second, and I believe the more important thing, is that you can't play Dread Corsair with Knuckles on turn 5 without Coin or Lightning Bloom, reducing the ability to snowball from empty board for Shaman. Doing that kind of stuff is not that scary, as it's easier for you to react or have control over the board, so that Shaman has to play reactively, and with current build it's barely possible, since so much of your deck is built around playing Knuckles on turn 5 and winning the game by turn 6 to 8. This means the Wolf Shaman will have to change their build completely in order to have playable reactive stuff early on, and not to focus on Knuckles being the only win condition, or the deck's win rate will plummet heavily. Does this mean we can stop running Cobbled Sticky Finger in every single deck? I don't know yet. There is a possibility for another powerful weapon-centric deck to rise. As for Rogue, people were talking about any of those 3 cards to be changed. Foxy Throat, that is basically a 0 mana 3/2 and combo enabler. Second being Shadow Step, that allowed you to chain tons of spells in a single turn, allowing your World Kick Master to become an insane value engine, or have very big questing adventurers and Edwin Van Cleefs. And the third was the all-time rock classic himself. And being honest to you, the fact that the latter was nerfed was quite a surprise to me, as I expected him to not be present in next year's standard, and with that in mind, no nerfs to him by that time. But even more interesting was an explanation on Twitter by Hearthstone developer Alec Dawson. Link is in the description. In short, he said that Edwin will be rotated from standard, and when that happens, he will get unnerved. Unfortunately, I'm still sure that Miracle Rogue will remain as the strongest deck in this meta. Sure, without super early Van Cleef, you will not grab several wins out of nowhere. Still, the core of the deck is strong with cards from the newest set, and with World Kick Master being in standard, you will be able to outgrind control decks, and turn 4 Edwin might still give you 3 wins. In conclusion, I am sure the amount of non-games from Van Cleef will be reduced, but the dominance of Rogue will not. As Hearthstone developers said, the most recent cards are important for future sets in terms of design, and that's the reason no new cards were touched. But I'm pretty sure that at least Foxy Throat will not avoid nerfs in the future, and possibly even more stuff will be nerfed for Rogue. With Battlegrounds, I'll be quick. A list nerf from 7/7 to 4/4 will make sure that underdeveloped compositions on early stage of the game will not get crushed for tons of damage, just because many, if not all, their attacks were directed from a taunt to her, with the whole enemy board surviving and dealing 20 plus damage, when it shouldn't have happened in most cases. Although the problem with damage in Battlegrounds is a topic that deserves its own video. And now let's talk about the best decks to play in Ranked. I will not recommend you to craft anything, as the mini-set will arrive soon, and this can warp the meta completely. Play what you have and enjoy playing first and foremost. If your goal is just to win a lot, I'd like to present you a few lists which I believe will do fine in ranked games. First we got Bomb Warrior, and even with everyone running the weapon tech against the Wolf Shaman, Bomb Warrior has proven to be quite resilient, With their worst matchup to be nerfed in Aggro Shaman and having one of the best matchups against Miracle Rogue out of all decks in the meta, Bomb Warrior will have a good time. The second deck I got is the Aggro Shaman. This is something that can be called the true sleeper. It is a very explosive deck, and if you are ahead on the board for the first few turns, it will be close to impossible to catch up with Aggro Shaman. The combination of weapon attack buffs and burn spells will give you a good time beating control decks that can't do much about you dealing tons of damage from hand and not from board. And for the last deck I'd like to highlight is a bit of a boring one, which is a Miracle Rogue. And I'm still sure that this archetype will keep dominating the meta if piloted well. The main reason for this being the fact that it's incredibly tough to target Rogue, and this has to be the key for Rogue to remain at tier 1 build for this meta. Share your thoughts about this patch in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel so that more people can watch the video. And with this, thanks for watching.